Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance, and this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Anonymous, and here's his story. Hi, Ollie. Thanks for the fantastic videos. It's really helping to get the stories out there and receive comments, and hopefully it's helping others when we share. Thank you. Here's another story. Just sent you a small contribution. This one is about an uncle and his borderline narcissistic behavior. A lot of it happened when I was still a minor, so hopefully some of this will be helpful to some younger listeners going through something similar. I've just connected some dots about his passive-aggressive and destructive behavior. And remember how many times he used gaslighting and smears and then had that smirk on his face. As mentioned, I was still in my teens when some of these things happened, and then when I grew up, I confronted him. And he would just laugh like he just lived for it to enjoy it. That's when I realized that the only way to win is to go no contact. Right, when you call them on it and they laugh over it, they laugh over your pain, and you see the pleasure they're deriving from your pain. I mean, it speaks for itself. For example, when I moved in a shared house that we shared, he came while I was at school and told them stories about me to one of the female tenants, and then met my former landlady and also told her stories about me. None of these stories were based on any fact, just a need to impress these females and try to get into their pants. This made my living situation there difficult, and he didn't really get anything from those ladies he was trying to impress. They told me later he was running around doing this for some reason, trying to be their friend. Right, because his personality is only based on mocking others. That's his deal. He has no personality other than trying to make fun of others and clowning on other people because he's just so empty. Few years later, while I was away, he came to my previous flat and stalked my girlfriend by hanging around near our place till he accidentally met her and then somehow arranged to meet with her mom, who lived in another town and was single at the time, and spread stories about me, how I was not good for her daughter, and how I would use her daughter, and how I used him, etc. My ex-girlfriend later told me all this when she realized none of it was true. When I confronted him about these stories and asked, how is it I used him, he was never prepared to explain or provide facts or examples of any evidence. They never are. He would just laugh and have that grin on his face like he enjoyed to see me stuff her and try to destroy my life. Right, it's just a game. It's just a game. What's to explain? The laugh, the narcissist laugh says it all. There's your explanation. The laugh is telling you, yeah, I did it on purpose, and there's nothing you can do about it. The narcissist laugh says it all. Once he panicked and asked me if I ever came across any of their friends, and if I ever told them anything about them. Now I know he was terrified of me telling my side of the story and his behavior. Like you said, we hold all the cards here, and we're the ones that can rarely expose them by rationally telling our side of the story. But who needs all that when no contact is much better? Right, and let me tell you what that was about you. I bet one of his other little schemes, like, I'm sure you're not the only one who does this shit. He does it to everybody. So maybe one of his other little schemes had fallen apart and wanted to make sure you didn't connect, and then that would really blow up. Because people like this are just afraid. Once one scheme blows, it's always a chain reaction, and that's what the narcissist fears. Once you're able to pull out that one lie and expose it, the rest of it fall like dominoes, and that's why they fight so viciously. So viciously, because they know it's a Jenga game. Their lies, the narcissist lies is a game of Jenga. And all that anxiety every time something gets pulled, that the stack of lies is going to hold. I mean, I was living alone from my early teens trying to survive, and he invited me occasionally to their place, and I even stayed there for a short period for which the government paid him. So I don't know why he behaved in such a manner. They would say that they wanted to help, but it seems like it was all show that they can present to others. Then more recently, I met a girl at his house who was in his church, and I asked her out on a date. However, when we met, she started saying things like, "How can I help you? I I heard you just came out of a long-term relationship, etc., etc., like I was some kind of basket case." Right, because he just can't stop shit-talking you. Because his whole deal is shit-talking you and holding you down because he has no personality of his own. That's his Jenga game, to make sure it never gets exposed. I realized that it was my uncle that was behind it, so I cut contact with this girl and confronted him about it. He just laughed again, and I talked to his wife, my aunt this time, and said that though they were on my side when they invited me to their house and introduced me, I expected them to lift me up, not smear me. I was very disappointed, but to him it was just a fun game. All his wife said that I met this girl in their house, so he was entitled to do this to protect her from falling in love. Because I recently came out of another relationship and she thought I was not ready for one. I told her that it was not for them to pass judgments on me, and that I expected better than that from them. Then my uncle and aunt would invite me to their grand dinner parties, a bit like something out of Keeping Up Appearances BBC TV comedies, Real Pretentious Farce, and then put me down in front of other people, their audience, and treat me like their butler, or again a jester. This especially happened when they had an audience of people admiring their posh house. He would pretend that his mobile phone didn't work and that he couldn't receive some text messages only from me so that he can gaslight me later. Then they would make up some stories and dramas alleging that I said or did something that I didn't say or do just to try to get me angry and react to it. My aunt tried to gaslight me over another situation and then said later she did all that because she wants to do things that are best for me, and how could I even think that they were against me? She clearly tried to manipulate, exclude, and isolate me, but that is somehow supposed to be good for me, and that's what they always say. It's for your own good. You know, they'll always use, "I'm doing it for your own good." You know, these hyperbolic statements that you can't prove. That's how I feel. And you're never going to win this game with the narcissist, which is why you don't play. But all of this is based on the narcissist Jenga game. Their stack of lies, which they are so paranoid at any given time, one wrong lie being exposed drops the whole house. Now I have no contact with him and his wife in a few years, and it feels better and better. Sometimes I feel a bit sad that it ended up that way. I received some angry text messages asking me why it is I have gotten no contact and I didn't respond. Some flying monkeys approached me, but I went no contact with them too, without even acknowledging their questions, just saying, "Nice to see you, bye-bye." And when I see them around in the street. Later I realized that he was just trying to score with those females, like my ex-girlfriend's mother and landlady and female flatmate, girl from church, etc. And that is totally NPD borderline behavior on their behalf to try to triangulate me and gaslight me for their entertainment and narcissistic supply. Now I'm grown up and I have a choice, but when I was a kid, it was difficult to confront any of them about it. I tried to laugh at some of their narcissistic behavior and obsessions with what other people say about them. But when they start with destructive behavior, then there is no other choice but to go no contact. Thanks, Anonymous. You're absolutely right. And again, what other people say about them is their narcissistic, again, the narcissistic Jenga. The paranoia of what people will say about them is the lie being exposed. And you pull out the wrong lie on the narcissist, the whole narcissistic house falls. And that's what goes on. So thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your story. I really appreciate it. I hope this helps. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up Skype, a phone call, have a private video made, or a Facebook chat, or you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general, see it grow, support it, keep the lights on and the rent paid, because that's always important. You know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. And if you're still unclear, wait for the instructional video link to pop up on the screen at the end of this video to walk you through all that. And if you're not seeing it, it's because you have your pop-up blocker on. Please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been The Narcissistic Resistance. Take care.